Hello again, boys and girls. So today, for our last science lesson of the week, we're going to be looking at a new force called air resistance. So our objective is to understand about air resistance. To be successful today, we're going to see if we can understand that gravity pulls us down to Earth. Gravity is something we looked at on Wednesday's lesson, so you might need to recap about that before you move on to today. We're going to see if we can explain what air resistance is, and then we're going to see if we can understand that air resistance works against the force of gravity. So in Wednesday's lesson, we learned all about gravity. The force of gravity is something that pulls us down to Earth. Gravity is a force that works between two objects that pulls them towards each other. So in our case, it's us being pulled down towards the Earth's core. If we didn't have gravity, then obviously we would just float off into space, wouldn't we? And that would be a bad thing. I want you to imagine for a minute that I told you that you were in an aeroplane and you had to jump out. If you had to jump out of that plane, what do you think you would need and why? Of course, you would need a parachute. If you just jumped out of the plane, you would fall and fall and fall at such a great speed that when you hit the earth, that would be it. But if you had a parachute, that parachute will be there to slow you down. Have a look at my investigation that I'm about to do.
So here's an experiment that you could do at home. I've got here two pens. One of the pens is just by itself, and the other pen I've attached to a carrier bag. This carrier bag is going to act like a parachute. What do you think will happen when I drop each of the pens? Let's drop the first pen first of all without the parachute, and we'll see how quickly it falls. That went down very quickly, didn't it? Now let's see what happens when we use the one with the parachute. I'll drop it from the same height. See, that one fell much slower and it landed a lot softer, didn't it? Why do you think that was?
So why do you think that the pen fell slower when it had a carrier bag attached to it? Well, it was because of the force of air resistance. It acted a little bit like a parachute, and a parachute will help you to fall to Earth safely. The force of air resistance counteracts the force of gravity, meaning that it slows the speed of falling. If you have a look at the diagram here, you can see that gravity is the force that's pulling us down. So the man who's jumped out of the plane is being pulled down to Earth. But you can see that the force of air resistance is stopping him from falling quickly. The air is pushing against the parachute, and that force is slowing him down. And that's why when you jump out of a plane with a parachute, you're less likely to hurt yourself than if you jump out without one. If there was no air resistance, then the man would continue to fall at the same speed and splat. So today I've got two different tasks which you can choose from. You can choose to do one of the tasks or both of the tasks. Task 1 is to create a poster to explain how parachutes work. I'd like to include a range of pictures and text to show your scientific understanding. If you'd prefer though to do a more creative task, Task 2, I'd like to see if you can create your own parachute using objects in your home. How does that help you to understand the force of air resistance and how that acts upon objects? I made mine using a carrier bag and I attached a pen to it, and I used an elastic band and some sellotape to attach it all together. You might have some extra things in your home that you could use to make your parachute look even better than my one. I made my one really quickly, but I'm sure if you took your time, you could make a really, really cool parachute. Maybe you could even video it and upload that video onto DB Primary for your friends to watch.